Here are the 10 biggest mistakes students make in algebra. Number 1 is forgetting PEMDAS, or order of operations. Order of operations are crucial in algebra, and if you forgot what they are, basically any operation of an expression has to be done in this order: parentheses first, then exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction at last. So for example, 4 plus 4 times 4 is not 32, which you could get from adding these two together, 4 and 4 together, 8, 8 times 4 is 32, but that's wrong. Using PEMDAS, remember multiplication and division comes first, so you multiply these first. 4 times 4 is 16, 16 plus 4 is 20, and that would be your actual answer. Number 2, the second error is messing up your signs when distributing, particularly with negative numbers. So for example, if you have negative 2 times in parentheses x plus 1, it is not negative 2x plus 2. Instead, since you're distributing with a negative number, you have to flip the sign, the plus sign in the middle, to get negative 2x minus 2. And mistake number 3 is combining unlike terms. So remember, only like terms can be added together. So for example, you cannot write 5x plus 3y equals 8xy because x and y are different variables, so you cannot combine them simply like this. And similarly, you cannot write 5x squared plus 3x equals 8x cubed because x squared and x are different, although they're both x. But you can write something like 6xyz plus 7xyz equals 13xyz because the xyz here and xyz here are the same. The fourth mistake is incorrectly canceling factors, particularly in fractions. So you can only cancel factors, which are stuff multiplied together, not terms, stuff added together. So for example, if we have this fraction, x squared plus x all over x, you cannot cancel out these two x's, like the x on the top that's added with x on bottom to get x squared. That is wrong. Instead, you have to factor out an x on the top to get x multiplied by something. Then you can cancel it out with the x on the bottom. And if you do that, you'll get x plus 1, which is the correct simplification. Mistake number 5 is similar to the earlier mention of like terms. It's mistakes in exponent adding. So for example, like said earlier, you cannot add x to the fourth plus x squared equals x to the sixth because they are not like terms. X fourth is not a like term with x cubed. X squared, because although they're all x's, you cannot add them together since they're raised to a different power. And another common pitfall in exponents is the messing up the rule of multiplying exponentials. But for example, if you have x to the fourth times x to the second, you cannot write it as x to the 4 times 2 power. Instead, the rule states that it's actually x to the 4 plus 2 power. So yeah, that's another mistake. Mistake number 6 is forgetting to reverse the inequality sign, particularly when multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So for example, if you have negative 2x is greater than 2, you cannot directly divide negative 2 from both sides as if it were an equality sign to get x is greater than negative 1. However, what you can do is, you can do that, but if you do so, you have to flip the negative sign as well. So your answer should be x less than negative 1. The mistake number 7 involves square roots. Remember, square roots are always positive. Although it's true that x squared equals 9 has two solutions, namely negative 3 and positive 3, if we have x equals square root of 9, it does not mean x equals both negative 3 and 3. This is because square roots are defined to only output positive numbers, and in our example, square root of 9 is 3, not negative 3. This is a problem that even shows up in advanced classes such as calculus. Mistake number 8 is forgetting extraneous solutions. Remember, you have to plug in all your values to the original equation, and especially, this happens a lot. This is especially important if you squared anything during your procedural problem solving. So say we have to solve this equation. Square root of x minus 1 is x minus 3. If you square both sides, you get x minus 1 equals x squared minus 6s plus 9. And jumping ahead a bit, you can try to solve this if you want. You would get x equals 2 or 5. So that's our answer, right? Wrong. You have to remember, you have to plug these values into your original equation. So if we plug in x equals 5, we get 2 equals 2, which is true. You can test it yourself. But if you plug in x equals 2, you get 1 equals negative 1, which is false. So remember, you have to plug in your solutions. From this, we can see that x equals 2 is an extraneous solution. So x equals 5 is our only actual solution. Mistake number 9 involves the formula for a circle. So here's the formula for a circle. Many students forget that the r squared is the square of the r, not the r itself. So for example, many students may mistake the graph of x squared plus y squared equals 9 to be a circle with radius 9, but instead it should be a circle of radius square root of 9, which is 3. And finally, and this is again a really important mistake, is units and context. Remember, you need to refer back to a question for context, and particularly in word problems, you might need to add units as well. So for example, if you have to find something such as time or speed, it has to be positive. So again, always add your units. If it wants you to put it in centimeters, add centimeters. This is particularly important, and it's something that's easily overlooked. But that's it for this video. If you liked it, please subscribe, and if I missed anything, feel free to leave in the comments. And yeah, thanks.